Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
How's it going, bros? My name's
Let's act like we weren't just like preparing this shit for like 3 hours.
Dude, I love this episode. I feel very passionate about what we're just about to talk about.
I just feel passionate in general. You can see it in my
Shut up. He's a very passionate individual. Ooh. You know, people say that Latinos and Latinos in general are very passionate.
You know, that's a
What's your
bullshit.
take on that?
Bullshit.
Why?
Because no. I mean, it's definitely a stereotype because I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, yes. Oh, fuck. How do I explain this?
I feel like we are very passionate.
We are passionate, but you have to be very selective about the things we're passionate. The thing is that people say, oh, Latinos are very passionate. Like, in their minds, they're like, oh, partying, drinking, being an animal and shit.
But no, I think we're passionate about love and about just like things what we enjoy. We are very passionate about that. Like we always express our feelings towards whatever we enjoy.
Okay, like to the fullest.
To the fullest.
Yeah, so we're just like all in and whatever we like.
Yeah, and we will fight to death to defend whatever we're talking about.
Definitely not me, but...
Because you're a wannabe white-ican who lives in the border.
Okay.
Which is the perfect segue for what we're just about to talk about.
What are we about to talk about? Let me know.
Jesus, this is a packed episode, guys.
We're going to talk about Jesus?
Yes, this is a religious podcast. Funny story, we both met in an Adventist... How do you say it? Adventist or Adventist?
7-day Adventist.
Adventist.
Okay, like, you can say it
however the fuck I want.
You can just say ad. No,
ad.
Don't.
This is not a sponsored video, by the way. No, we met in an Adventist school.
Yes.
When we were in
academy.
5th grade.
They're called academies.
It was an academy. We were in 5th grade. Yeah. We were two little dumb kids who didn't have any friends.
Now we're just two little dumb...
Who still don't have any friends.
What are we? We're not kids.
We're wannabe adults.
I'm definitely not an adult.
We want to be adults. I'm sorry,
I tried to do my taxes. That shit was wild. I could not do my taxes.
Wow.
I think I'm in trouble.
I have someone who does them for me, so... It's my mother.
Okay. Yeah, I can't. I think I'm in trouble, like federally.
Are you serious?
Maybe. Could be. I don't know.
You're such a blonde.
Are you serious?
Are you serious? I'm sorry. Oh my god. Are you serious? Oh yes, Siri. Why didn't she answer in this?
Wait, why isn't mine not like acting up? Hey Siri.
Is yours in English? Mine's is in Spanish. Mine's is in Spanish.
Okay, mine's in English, but it's in Irish English. Cause I thought it was.
Why would you do that?
Cause I heard like people were like switching it to like Indian English. Yeah, like.
How would that be? Hey Siri. Hey Siri. I'm sorry, I suck at accents.
Bro, saying like I'm horrible at accents, but I thought it was gonna be like something more like passionate or something. Like something. Like that's what like I thought Indian was gonna be like. So I'm like, okay, then Irish has to be something even fucking wilder, right?
What's the shittiest accent when it comes to like the English language?
So like.
Because I believe Australians have the worst accent ever.
But their English is English. Like, that's their native language.
Yes, but it sucks. Like, it's to a point
I love it.
Well, it's to a point where it's not even English. When, like, water, it's not water.
Well, yeah, but...
Water.
It's just a different variation of English.
And this is really not what the podcast is.
No, but keep it rolling. Fuck it.
So, we were planning this podcast for the past... week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, because you got sick. What happened there, by the way? Not corona.
Hopefully,
because you're sitting next to me, so
the thing is that, okay, like, I don't know how to cook.
Wow, this is amazing.
I mean, it's not a surprise. I just don't know how to cook. And so, in my mind, I had, like, a leftover chicken that was already pre-cooked. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. And then I had cup noodles. And so I'm like, okay, I know how to do cup noodles. Just shove them in the fucking microwave 3 minutes.
Which is really not what you're supposed to do, but we do it anyways.
But I do it anyway because I'm going to get cancer eventually. So just speeding up the process, I guess. Anyway, what I did is that I warmed up the chicken. Then I did the cup noodles. And so I just like put the chicken in the cup noodles. And it was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life.
It doesn't sound very... appetizing.
No, and like 3 days later, I was like in a deep fever. I was like dying. I was like, fuck this.
Wait, was that salmonella?
I have no idea.
By the way, I'm saying this because that's our new favorite YouTuber.
Oh my god.
Salmonella. If you guys have not seen Salmonella,
bro, go watch it right now.
Go watch it.
Like, get the fuck out of this podcast. This is not.
We're not even worth it.
No, like Salmonella's right here. We're right here. Like, no, different level. Like,
I mean, we might get to his level someday in our lives. Maybe when we die.
Who do you think has a better production value? Salmonella or
with
us?
His shitty ass drawings, or us with his
professional?
Here's the thing, actually, like, I was feeling very crappy because of the production value of this podcast. Like, we only have one microphone, which we're sharing. We have 2 cameras. One of the cameras is not even, like, stabilized properly. Alan's camera is actually, like, it doesn't have a tripod. We're actually we're actually using a bunch of books, hardcover books, that we stole from my book collection to, like, kind of balance the camera in a somewhat good position. So this quality, like, it's not even good. However, it's better than Salmonella's.
Bro, oh my gosh. Like, we have a ratchet tripod on one microphone, and he just has, like, what? Earphones? Stick figures. And his content is 1,000 times better than ours.
You know why?
Easy.
You know why is that?
Because he's amazing.
No, because he actually researches. That's a weird word.
It's a word.
If not, I'm making it up. Yeah, he actually, like, does a bunch of research and makes a video entertaining instead of just talking for the past 7 minutes out of nothing that we actually planned.
Out of our asses.
Yeah, we actually spent like 2 hours planning our episode, and this is nothing compared to what we planned. Should we start with the first topic?
All right, first topic.
This was a good...
First order of business.
This was a good way to, like, make it a little bit light-weighted.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is, like, just for you and me, like, to transition into, like, the actual... It's like we're getting accustomed to... We've never done this shit.
We've never done this, and I like this. It's...
Okay, like...
It's comfortable. First of all, we don't even talk in English in our day-to-day life.
Exactly.
We talk in Spanish.
No, we speak in Spanglish.
We speak
in
Spanglish.
Like, yeah, we generally it's Spanish and then like some English words right here and there.
Yeah.
But right now we want to do it all in English because fuck it, why not?
Also,
we can. That's why. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Because we're allowed to.
It's
a free country, whatever the country the internet is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is amazing because we're now getting used to talking. So now we can smoothly transition to our first topic.
Smoothly.
Yes. So our first topic is border beaners.
Why?
So why? We were flirting about the idea of making a podcast for a while.
Flirting?
With the idea.
Ah.
Not to each other.
Bitch,
You're like... No, we were flirting about the idea.
Yes. We're like dancing around the subject.
Yes, about making a podcast.
We're like,
And it's something I've been wanting to do for a while. Like, I make content, but it's definitely not like a conversational type of content. I make like, I scream my ideas in front of a camera for a few people to watch, and that's pretty much it.
But even that is like very structured, and a podcast is not. I want something that's fluid, that's like that could go any direction.
Exactly.
Right?
And here's the thing. I am trying to, like, my YouTuber side of me is trying to bring the structure that we planned to this conversation.
Exactly.
And it's freaking me out. And like, my brain is
I am not
having
letting
so
you.
much problem.
I am not letting you. We have an agenda. We have a list of topics that we were like, okay, we're gonna talk about it.
12 fucking minutes.
And I'm not letting her. Like.
I know. Anyways.
I'm not letting you.
We wanted to make a podcast.
So we're making a podcast right here.
And Border Beaners was, I think, our first or second option for the the name of the podcast.
I mean, it was yours because honestly, I did not come up with this.
Yes, I did come up with it.
It was all you.
So my idea was at first to call it Border Bunnies. Because border bunnies is what they call people who like jump across the border and like whatever, like
which I've never
illegal
heard
immigrants.
Of,
I have heard of it. I don't know if it's like a real term or if it's just something one friend said and I took it as a real thing. But just because I wasn't sure, I was like, well, what's something that they call us Mexicans? I was like, fucking beaners. Facts. And I love beans, just as everyone in Mexico loves beans. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of like if you're If you don't like beans, you're not considered a Mexican. Like, that's a thing.
I mean, I only like my mama's.
Your mom's beans are amazing.
Bro, that's why. Once you've tasted
Plug it in right now as if it was a sponsorship.
Okay, so we're sponsored by Tortilleria Anahuac, right?
If you ever come to Mexicali, you should visit Tortilleria Anahuac. Get some beans, get some tortillas, get some tamales.
God. Oh my God.
Fucking delicious.
Once you've tasted greatness, you don't want to go back, you know? So every other bean or any other beans that I've tasted after tasting my mom's beans are ass. They're like ass cheeks. It's like I'm like scooping
but we
shit.
do like ass cheeks, don't we?
No. Do you eat ass?
No. Okay. Shut up!
So that's why Beanerz. That's why we're calling ourselves Beanerz.
Also, okay, so here's my question. Because I was telling a bunch of friends, I was very excited about the podcast. Oh. So last week, I was calling a bunch of friends, telling them to follow our Insta page, our YouTube, whatever. And when they saw that the name of the podcast was Border Beaners, they were scared. They were like, do you actually know what this means? Like, are you serious about this? I'm like, well, yeah, that's what Americans call Mexicans. Like,
it's a racial slur.
I know that. But then, like, they were like, it's a racial slur. Like, dude, are you seriously saying that? And I'm like, Jesus, people really think it's an offensive thing. So my question here is the word beaner such, like, a really offensive thing? Like, for me, it isn't. But what's your take on this? Like, I mean, you already agreed to it, so...
Yeah, I mean...
We can't really change it, but what's your take? Like, is it really that offensive?
It's not offensive.
At all.
Well, okay, yes, it is offensive in certain situations, but it's very specific. So
what would be like a specific situation?
It all has to do with intent. So like, okay, let's say I'm driving in the States and like a cop pulls me over. He comes in.
Controversial.
No, I mean, no, if he calls me a beaner out of hate, out of a place of I hate you, I'm racist, fuck you, you're a beaner.
Yes.
That, I'll take offense to that. But like anybody else, like a friend of mine calling me a beaner, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
But I think that's the same with everything. We were talking about this when we were driving back here. I feel like every word could be used as offensive or every word could be used like a compliment. It depends on the context. So for example, princess. If you call someone a princess, you could either say it's an entitled bitch or you can say she's just beautiful and amazing.
Facts.
So it really comes up to like, are words really offensive or is it just us like making a bigger deal out of it?
I like I said, I still think it's intent. Like, it's what you intended to be. And that's the tricky part, because, like, you can intend a word or, like, a phrase to mean something, and it could be perceived as something else. And that I hate so much.
Yeah, but it's so difficult. In itself, there's no such thing as an offensive word, is there?
No. I mean, we've been cursing all throughout this podcast.
And I don't feel offended?
No. Do you feel offended? No.
I only feel offended by that one moment in the podcast where you said I eat ass.
Do you eat ass?
No. But that's the thing. Like,
that's
I feel
suspicious.
Like... No, I feel like the problem right now, one of the biggest problems we have is that we take things very literally. Like, instead of just, like, not caring what people say or the intention behind it, if you know your self-worth and you know, like, what you stand up for and what you do, like, if someone calls you a beaner... Even if the intent is, like, to make you feel bad, don't let them have that power over you.
Well, yeah, that's a very confident thing to say from a confident person. But not everyone's, like, as confident. And people...
I'm sorry, I thought you said ass confident. Like
ass confident?
But yeah, no, keep going. I'm sorry. Okay. This podcast should change to, like, ass beaners or
ass
something.
Beaners.
No, keep going, I'm sorry.
Bro. No, but yeah, I mean, it depends on... fuck. I lost my train of thought. Fuck you.
No one is as confident.
Yeah, no one's confident. No, I mean, not everyone is as confident as they would like to be. Yeah. And not everyone has the same mental capacity, I feel like, to interpret, or empathy, I feel like, to interpret someone's words or phrases or whatever they're saying into saying, oh, he didn't say this out of a place of hate. Or out of, like, a position of I hate you, or, like, I want to hurt you. They said it out of a place of, oh, I'm trying to be funny, or, oh, I want to, I want you to like me, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, its misinterpretation is fucking flagrant. It's everywhere.
It is.
And so, like, not everyone is, like, accustomed to saying, oh, what do you really mean by this? Or like, or if they do say, oh, what do you mean by this? Do you mean like that you're attacking me? Are you hurting me? And they immediately take a stance of a defensive stance. Yeah. So if you called me a beaner and like, I know myself, I'm cool with it. I'm like, okay, I know that you're not meaning like hateful things. But someone else might think, oh, are you saying that you're better than me because you're not a beaner? Or even if you are calling me a beaner and I know you're a beaner too, do you feel like you're still better than me? Like, what's going on here? Like, immediately, like, my brain just goes...
Yeah.
Right?
And so, we overthink the shit out of everything.
Yeah, we overthink shit so much. But, yeah. I mean, I don't think words should carry the meaning that they carry currently.
Yeah, especially with... this is going to be very controversial.
Ooh,
but
your specialty.
Ooh. Yes. But I'm not trying to make like a bigger deal out of this. I just want to say that the power we give to words is so like how can I put it into words without it being like massive controversial? I feel like if we stopped giving words so much power, we could live in like a very wholesome society. Like I don't want to. It is difficult because I'm about to give a very bad example.
And I know what you're going to talk about.
You know what I'm going to talk about.
But let me say this one thing though. It's not so much that these words are being used by themselves. They're words attached to actions.
Yes.
Right? So if I'm calling, say the example I just gave, like a cop pulled me over, he called me a beaner. What happens next? Is he calling me a beaner because he's like trying to be funny? What's going on? If he were to arrest me with no cause, with no reason, just because I'm a beaner, well, that's a word attached to an action, and that's where the issue comes.
The problem then it's the action, not the word itself.
Well, it's a bundle. They come together.
They do.
It's like this podcast. It's you and me.
We come together.
Bro. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, it's definitely a touchy subject, especially with everything that's going around right now.
Holy shit.
So, should we talk about this?
It's in the agenda.
It's in the agenda. The fact that you had to look over.
Wait, are we on track? Like
yes, we are on track.
Yeah, we should. How though?
How? Oh my god, we're laughing not because we're making fun of this, but
we're laughing out of nervousness.
We are very uncomfortable with the situation.
But you gotta place yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow.
Yes. So, Jesus. Okay. Not you. You're not Jesus. Stop. Okay.
I look like okay. So this is
yes. So George Floyd.
What a great man.
It's a tough subject.
He changed the world.
Yes.
Daddy changed the world. I love that. I saw that video, or like, I don't know if it was a video or a quote. No.
What video?
My heart melted. His little daughter was like in a protest, and she just like said, "Oh, my daddy changed the world," because like everything that happened.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's adorable. So cute.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject. Tushy. Is it just subject? Tushy. Yes, I guess all we could say it's like, it's terrible, and it's tough how after all these years, like when I was in elementary school, I used to think that racism was like something that did not exist anymore. Like when we were like when we were kids, like when we were in school, I remember one time our 5th grade teacher, he asked us. Shout out Mr. Solis. What a great man. I love him.
He was a great man because we were his favorite.
We were his favorite.
You and me.
No one can say the same.
Everybody else hates Mr.
But we love him. We should visit him like as soon as this is all over.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, I remember one time when we were in middle school. Not middle school. It was elementary school, 5th grade. That he asked, like in the classroom, like if you were in the playground and there was one black kid and one white kid, who would you pick to play with? And I remember that for me, like, it was such a stupid question. Like, I remember at the time, like, I turned around and everyone seemed to have, like, the same reaction as me. Who were like, well, whoever is funnier, whoever I like the best. Like why?
Black kid. Always black kid.
No. No, but I remember this was, like...
What
like
are we playing?
Us, when we were kids, like, we were not aware that this was a thing. And, like... as kids, when we were put in this like dilemma, this scenario, we were like, well, whoever I like the best, like, what does race has to do with anything? And then as you grow up, you remember, like, you start noticing how we still have like the scenarios where it is still a thing, and like I used to believe it was something about the past. I used to believe it was something like history. You know, when you learn about Martin Luther King, about Rosa Parks, you have no sense of time. You don't give, like, when they give you a date and you're a kid, a year is just a year, and you believe it was a long time ago. But the fact that we still have, like, police brutality over race, like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that was like 3 people ago.
Yeah. And like
3 people ago, yeah.
So, it's like, it is a wake-up call. It definitely is.
It's a wake-up slap.
It's a wake-up punch.
Do you eat ass?
So yeah.
That's true.
My heart goes to his family and everyone around him.
It kind of makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, racism is an old thing. It's like a thing of the past. Technically it is. Because
it is.
When things were... When institutions started to become what they are, systems, political parties, racism was there.
Yeah.
And so essentially that concept of racism was still embedded within the foundations of these institutions. And so that's why people are asking for the police to be defunded. That's why people are asking for, I don't know, for institutions to be like remade in such a way that they're not racist. And that's so difficult, man. You're like tearing an entire system down and rebuilding it. I mean, it's very difficult, but it's gonna be made.
Eventually. It's gonna be made, and at the end of the day...
It's gonna be made.
Like, I feel like we should... This will be, again, very controversial. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be...
Chill.
But, I guess that no change is made out of happiness and, like... No change is made when everything's going out fine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there has to be moments of disruption, there has to be catastrophes, there has to be something wrong so that we keep changing and evolving and becoming better as a society. So just the fact that we have like things going on wrong, that just brings light to them. So like, I'm grateful for problems that later create change.
Yeah.
I was about to make a slip and I was so aware of it.
Yeah, chill.
Yeah, but yeah.
No, but you're right. Like, how are you going to improve as a society or like as a person? As anything, you cannot improve something that's not already perfect.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And the fact that everyone is raising their voices, that's amazing. Like, this is something that I really appreciate. The fact that I've been able to make content for the past 3 years, raise my voice, express my opinion on the internet. Like, that's something I really value. The fact that people are doing that out of what they think it's important. It's very amazing. However, I feel like there's a huge problem with doing it in the middle of a pandemic. I feel like it's a huge problem doing it when there's literally, like, people dying because of, like, this whole thing. Like, it's amazing that they're raising their voices, but how? I feel like, especially right now, we have to be careful because we all have families. We all have, like, people who maybe their immune system is not great, that maybe they have some sort of disability, that maybe, like, even people who are the most vulnerable in this pandemic, like, we should still protect them. Like, yes, Black Lives Matter, and this will be controversial. Black Lives Matter, but so that does my family's life. So does, like, every other person who's now, like, exposed because of this. And I guess we will not know, like, the backlash of the whole riots and marches and stuff going on until, like, what, in the next 1 or 2 weeks?
We have a week, I feel like. Yeah, we have like a week or two. And like, then we're going to see the numbers spike. But, okay, here's my opinion on this. Or, well, to begin this, there was this case of a girl, or there was this recent story of a girl. I did not read it. It was like an Instagram post that I saw. But basically, it's this girl with asthma went into the protests, and the police, like, they pepper sprayed, right? Because, I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah, tear gas.
They used tear gas, and she inhaled that, and she had this underlying asthma condition, and then she died. Yeah. Right? Sad, so very sad. I'm sorry, I don't know, like, the death of this, like, story, but like that's just all I heard. That's just all I know.
Like what you heard, what's going around.
Yeah, and so like that makes you think. Okay, like you have so many immunocompromised people. In your maybe they're home. Okay, yeah, they're home. They're not out protesting, but you're people that are close to them, people that they come in direct contact with, they are out protesting.
Yeah.
Is it bad though? I still don't know, because here's a reason why. You mentioned before that if everything was nice, everything was fine, then there wouldn't be any problem to fix. There wouldn't be anything that would catch our attention. Yeah. Our attention, right? So I feel like, okay, right now people are rioting. They're destroying property. They're stealing from stores, which I don't think is the best approach, but it's happening. However, it's happening in such a way that people are noticing. They're like, wait, why are you doing this? Oh, because Black Lives Matter, and because there's systemic racism in our institutions, and there's racism in general. However, let me finish. Okay. So the thing is, I feel like, okay, is that wrong? Is that not correct? Maybe. But it's definitely bringing attention to the subject. Is there a different way to approach this? Maybe. But this is working.
Yes.
It's working, isn't it? Like, that's the only fucking thing we're talking about.
Yes. And it's literally the only thing you see when you go in on Instagram. Like, you see 4 posts on a row about the movement, and then one that's different, and then another 4 to 5 posts.
And usually that different one is an ad or something.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, okay, like, let's take it to the playground in middle school or in elementary school. Like, there's this bully that's always bullying the fuck out of you. He's stealing your money. He's taking your lunchbox. And you never say anything because, like, well, fuck that guy. He's an asshole. But I'm not going to say anything. What happens the day that the little kid, like, out of anger, out of desperation, out of frustration, just punches the fuck out of this fat kid back? Switching cameras.
Yeah, we're switching to one camera. Social distancing at its finest.
Out of the fucking window.
Excuse my bed. Keep going with playground. You punch back.
And like, I come from a very bad place. Why are they coming back from that back place? And like, you just backtrack to the point that you can say, okay, we can fix this. We can fix this. So that these other ripple effects things are not happening again.
Yes, right? Definitely punching back brings attention to the subject in a way that has never done before. However, Jesus, like every time I make an argument or a point or talk about this with someone, everyone's like, the fact that you use however or but or like everything when you say something about this, it makes you part of the problem.
Yeah, because you're wrong. Always. Fuck you. You're the problem with America.
But here's my thing. It's amazing that you're protesting. It's amazing that you guys are standing up for a cause. Like, I do believe that change is being made. My point here is that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And that there are vulnerable people that are now being so exposed to the virus because of all the riots. That's just one of the things that I believe is wrong with the riots. Number 2, people looting and people destroying private property, and everyone's like, well, fuck them because they have insurance. Like that'll be covered. Oof. Well, that's not the case for everyone. Like,
or maybe they do have insurance, but now their insurance is going to be more expensive.
And not just that. Maybe they do have insurance, but the fact that they have insurance does not guarantee that in less than a day or 2 days, they'll be back in business. Like, they have been, without being able, like, actually make money and actually work because of this whole coronavirus situation for the past 2 months. And now some idiot is vandalizing my private property, and they're just putting the deadline for me to be able to work again, like, way further. Even if I have insurance, that does not make it okay for someone to come into my private property and destroy the shit out of my business. Yeah. Like, I feel like I hate it when people are like, well, I hate, like, yes, Black Lives Matter. We can all agree to that. We can all agree that this is, like, a very shitty situation that people are living. Like, it's undeniable. Like, George Floyd, it's the prime example of this happening. Like, it is wrong. However, that does not excuse the behavior of everyone around. And also, Like, there are people right now who are looting that are not even fighting for a cause. They're just breaking into places, stealing shit, pretending it's for George Floyd and for justice and for, like, the whole movement. And in reality, they're just taking advantage of the whole situation.
Well, those people are assholes to begin with.
It sucks, yes. So my thing is, like, not everyone who is on these riots, not everyone who's on the streets protesting, not everyone has the same philosophy as what they make it seem. Like, there are so many wrong things, not just with the movement. Like, yes, the police, they're not making the right calls.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes. Yeah. Like, that side is fucked. But also, like, every side is fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with a bunch of people. You're gonna have, like, your
idiots in every
bad apples or fucking idiots.
Yes.
You always have that. Well, I feel like the difference in this specific scenario is that we have an over-glorification of the things that are going wrong. That all the bad things that people are doing while protesting, like all the looting, all the riots, all the bad shit, all the destruction. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like that's the majority or the actual accurate representation of what everybody else is doing. Out of, like, I feel like there's a vast majority of people that are actually peacefully protesting, but we just don't see that because it's not a fun story. It's not a fun story. You know, they just walked, they marched, and they stated that Black Lives Matter. That's all they did. And then you have this other story, and you say, oh, this group of people just came into Target and they stole the fuck out of everything. They burned down the police department. They burned down this. They destroyed this.
It's a very...
Like, what's a better story? Like,
it's a better story. It's more clickbaity. Exactly. It makes more... Yeah.
Well, it's going to give you more money as a journalist. Like, okay, look at this. This is fucking beautiful and peaceful. Or, like, look at this fucking batshit insane group of people. Like, what's going to give you more money? Like, what's
definitely whatever that makes you more...
Exactly. What's the logical decision? Okay, I'm just going to, like, record this. Because, like, this shit's going to give me money. And this shit's going to feed me and my family.
Well, like, but at the same time... Like, I'm not trying to, we're just having a conversation. I feel like I'm disclaiming every time I talk because I'm so used to, I guess, having a lot of controversial opinions, and I know people are gonna backlash. That's not the point here. And I'm not trying to make it seem as if the police are always right, and that, that's definitely not the case. However, I do believe there are a lot of police officers that do their job, that try to keep the country safe, that, like, I feel like, again, what makes a better story? To just pinpoint the bad apples of the police department who are doing shitty things, or, like, make a story out of the actually good police officers that do, like, care for the country and do good, like, in the country. Like, it's the same for both sides.
Yeah, it's a valid point. I feel like the difference in this case would be that these riots, this destruction is happening once, or, like, in this specific event. The police brutality thing has been happening for, like, years, like, hundreds of years, since the very beginning. Mm-hmm. It's been happening continuously. Every day. It's the same thing, like the playground thing. It's like every day, every week, every month, some batshit, crazy, insane thing happens. And then we have this particular event that just happened once. Or that it's been happening, like, quite frequently in the present future, or in the present.
Yeah, people are
like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Like, okay, now you understand, like, kind of why they're doing it, but I will not disregard your point that, okay, yeah, there's some people that are fucking assholes and are just, like, taking advantage of the whole situation. Of the whole situation, yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy people are, like, speaking up. I'm happy change is being made. But there are a lot of things that are still wrong, but it's just part of the process. At the end of the day, like, we're all in constant evolution.
We're all fucking humans,
like,
man.
Yeah, and the world is not the same as it was, like, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. And this is all because of people believing in making change and raising awareness. And whatever you're standing up for, whether you're, like, whatever political party, whatever you stand up for, like, the fact that you speak up and raise awareness, like, that's amazing.
And educate others, honestly.
Yeah, the fact that we're just talking about this, like,
we're just fucking Mexicans, like,
we're not living
in there, like, We're not living in the States. We're fucking living in Mexico.
Estás por acá porque estás como súper lejos de la toma. I'm sorry, guys. We just randomly speak in Spanish because we...
That's how we talk.
That's literally how we talk, yeah.
Anyway, we're not even allowed to cross the border.
Right now because of the pandemic, yeah.
We're never allowed. We just pop it.
Okay. Well, now it's enough about George Floyd. Rest in peace. But we have our own little police brutality case going on in Mexico.
Little? Bitch, I ain't little.
Bitch, I ain't little. Yeah,
I'm a short king.
You're a short king.
Yeah.
How was it? Like, I can suck a titty while standing up. How was it?
Bitch, I can suck a titty while standing up. Let me be. Let me fucking be.
No te vas atrás, güey.
Wait, it's good.
Yeah, I keep telling Alan to scoot over because he's out of the shot.
I just don't feel comfortable being close to you. Ever.
You get turned on? I know. Anyways. People used to say, like, when we were kids, like, stop, come over. Oh, wait, can you give me my drink? Yeah, well, people used to say when we were kids that we were gonna end up together and that we were gonna date or something. Dude, we're literally twins. Like, we've been twins for, like, the beginning of ages. Can you open this for me?
Fraternal twins, because we don't look alike.
We kind of do.
No, we don't. Nah, fuck
no.
I'm prettier. I'm the cuter one. You know why? Because I'm not wearing makeup.
Oh, fuck you. We can talk about makeup in some other episode.
Facts.
Anyways, we have our little case of police brutality.
We do have police
brutality. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say little as in this is not important.
It's not little. I don't think it's little. I think it's
not
just,
little. It's just me trying to say it in a pretty way.
Here's what's happening. The thing is that, okay, we have this shit show going on in the United States, and then we're Mexicans just like as spectators. We're just looking at it. I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. And we just like casually turned around, and we just like saw our own shit show that we also have.
That we constantly have.
Yeah, we constantly have this shit, and it's just like in this case in particular was kind of similar. Because it involves police brutality, someone killing an innocent person, I guess.
Yes. However, it is not confirmed. The George Floyd...
What happened? What happened?
Okay.
You explain the story.
What basically, his name, I believe, is Giovanni Lopez.
Yes.
He was from Jalisco.
I have no idea where I have no clue, like, what's
We read the story beforehand, but as you can tell, we are really not... professional.
I'm very ignorant.
We are very ignorant.
Yes.
So basically what happened is there is a case of a guy who was walking down the street in his hometown, and all of a sudden a police cop came. A police cop. That's the perfect term for it.
A pig.
A police officer. Wait, we should I'm sorry, guys. This is bothering me. I think we need to make it a little bit brighter.
Yeah, so I don't look as dark.
I'm sorry. I feel like I look way brighter now.
Yeah. See the contrast? Like, okay, like...
This is makeup.
You say you're the same skin color as me, but look at that. No, we're fucking not.
Okay, stop.
I'm offended that you...
There you go. That's better, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
I do care.
I look good in any lighting.
Oh, shut up.
And with no makeup.
Anyways, I'm sorry, Giovanni, we're not trying to be...
What's happening?
Yes. Basically, this guy was walking down the street in his hometown, and then he was not wearing a mask. So a police officer came in. Allegedly, what happened is
beat the fuck out of him.
I'm sorry for all the headphone users.
Yeah.
So yeah, allegedly, he was beat up and now he's dead.
Yes.
However, there is no evidence about it.
It's different in the case like from George Floyd, because with George Floyd we have an actual like video of what happened, like the entire 9 minutes of what everything happened, like and very clear of what everything happened.
And we have an autopsy that actually says what happened.
Well, I didn't see an autopsy report for this guy, but what's been circulating is that okay, like the police came in and beat the fuck out of him because he wasn't wearing a mask.
That's basically everyone is saying.
There's no video of it, but I do believe that it happened because
we're in Mexico.
That sounds like Mexico, yeah.
Yes, but here's the thing,
I don't hear that and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, no, I mean, yeah, it sounds right. That happens.
Yeah, it sounds like something that you would hear from Mexico.
Yes.
Also, people are trying to make like the same deal that's going on with George Floyd here in Mexico. And I believe it's a very different story. Yes, there is police brutality involved. However, there's no such thing as racism involved with this story because we're all Mexican. Second,
because we're all Mexican.
Because we're all Mexican.
I mean, but racism does exist in Mexico. Though.
It does exist, not the way it exists in the United States. I feel like Mexicans try to jump into the bandwagon of, in Mexico we have issues too. Like, we're all, like, constantly trying to become America. We constantly try to, like, bring up all of the issues there are in America, and we try to make them our own just to have drama to talk about, I think.
I mean, in a
there
sense,
is police brutality in Mexico.
I feel like it makes sense, though. Like, okay, like, say some batshit crazy thing happens in Europe. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. And, like, you see that happening and, like, wow, that's fucked up. And then, like, you turn around and you see the same thing happening in your country. You're like, wait, what the fuck?
But it's not necessarily the same thing happening. It's a very different story. Also, Mexico does not have, like, that specific problem in, like, as the U.S. Like, we do have police brutality, but we have brutality in every single case.
The reason why we have police brutality is because you have a bunch of people that are uneducated and unprepared, and then you just shove them right into a position of power immediately.
And that's literally what happens in the U.S. too.
Yeah, the difference is that we don't do it, or at least I feel like the police in here are not doing it out of racism. They're doing it out of, fuck you, I'm better than you. Like,
also,
it's a classist issue, I feel like.
Yes, but also I think there's this culture about how you can bribe a police officer easily. Like, I have never been pulled over and actually went to get a ticket and actually, like, went through the whole thing. Like, I'm sorry, yes, I am part of the problem, but, like, ever since I was a kid, I used to be in the car with my mom, and if I was not wearing a seatbelt, we would get pulled over, and my mom will just slide 200 pesos, which is like $10, to the officer, and we would be good to go.
The thing that I feel like is so fucking funny is that you don't slide it. You just, like, flagrantly you just say it out like, hey bro, like, if I give you $200, like, or 200 pesos, would you shut the fuck up and, like, let me be? They'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, to a point where, like, they'll
suggest it. They'll say, you know what we're gonna do
right now? We
can
get it fixed right now.
No, and, like, what they say is, like, they try to sell it to you.
Yeah.
The idea of the bargain. They'll be like, okay, like, you did this. What's gonna happen next is that I have to escort you to the, to, like, the police station. And then you're gonna have to, like, stay in line for, like, 3 hours. Then
they make it seem as if it was this long-ass process.
Or you can just, like, give me 200 pesos.
No. He's not even like that. They're always like, or we can arrange it right here.
Or we can arrange something else.
I remember the first time my sister and I got pulled over. He started saying this whole thing, and we were giving up. We were like, yeah, like, fuck it. Let's just assume what we did, and let's just go to the police station. Yeah. Like, let's do this right. You know, like how we were taught. Not really, because we were taught to do the wrong thing, but we wanted to be, like, good kids, right? Yeah. And so we were telling the police officer, like, sure, yeah, let's go to the police department, whatever. Yeah, and he was like, yeah, but it's a long process. We can just get it fixed right now. And we were like, yeah, but how? And he was like, well, if you have any suggestions. And I thought he was like, suck my dick.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like the beginning of a porno.
It does, right? So we were like, well, like, how? Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
He just whips it out.
Oops. No, he was like, well, we can, like, get it fixed right now and, like, not be able to, not go through this process, whatever. So we're like, no, let's go. Like, let's go to the police. Bitch. Yeah, we were like, let's go to the police department. To a point where he was like, okay, whatever, just go. Like, there will be no second chances, just go. Like, yeah, they don't even want to go to the police department because it's, like, so out of their way. They maybe just want to go get tacos afterwards. They just wanted to get, like, couple bucks for them to pay for their tacos. Same, dude. We should go get tacos. Same. But that's the thing. Like, Mexico in general, it's so corrupt. It's so, like, it's a shithole. So, like, am I really surprised that this is happening to Giovanni? Like, how many stories, like his, are circulating right now everywhere in this country, and we're not even aware of it?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
millions.
Yeah. So,
So it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and I feel like that's why I don't feel like Giovanni's death is, or like his case at least. I don't feel like it's like people making a big deal out of it. I feel like, okay, like it's the same thing. Like, okay, this shit's happening like every day to thousands and thousands of people.
Yes.
And we just don't know about it. Like, let's use this guy as an example, and let's say, hey, like shit's happening to him. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do about it? Let's speak up. Let's try to do something about it. I feel like that's what people are doing right now.
But the biggest problem in Mexico is not really police. It's the cartel. I'm sorry.
Girl, there's so many problems in Mexico.
Yeah, but like the biggest problem when it comes to violence.
It can be traced. Most problems can be traced to the cartel.
Yes, but my point here is that...
That's America's fault.
When it comes to police brutality in the U.S., it's pretty straightforward.
It's racism?
I mean, yeah, but like what I'm saying is, if you have an event like this occurring, it is pretty straightforward. Like, you know what happened, and that's pretty much it. However, in Mexico, like, there are so many people dying constantly that we're not even aware of, that like bodies will never be found, and like there's so much like violence down there that police brutality is like the least of our problems here. Our problems, yeah. Like. But no one is gonna speak out against the cartel. No one is gonna say like, "Oh, this happened," because you get shot.
You get your family kidnapped first. Then they send like fingers and shit to you through mail. Until you like pay them money or whatever. Or they just kill the fuck out of your family and then they cut your dick
and then
You know, women do that in the States, bro. Like, that's I've heard of like cases.
They cut people's dicks?
Of girls like that. Like, oh, my boyfriend cheated, so I fucking cut his dick off.
Is that a thing?
I don't think it's a thing. It's a thing that happened at some point.
Oh, okay.
And I heard, and like I'm like, fuck, that's insane. That's why I don't have a girlfriend, because like
I feel like that's.
I'm afraid of my dick being chalked off.
No, you don't have a girlfriend because you're not competent enough.
Fuck you.
You know it's true.
Shut the fuck
up. You know it's true.
No, that's not true.
You know it's true. Anyways,
okay.
Let me see how we can.
Let me go put some makeup on so I can just go on Tinder and get a date.
Listen. Fuck you.
Down.
I'm not gonna tell you anything about my love life anymore if you're gonna use it against me. Anyway. We should probably lighten up the mood before we end the podcast.
Nah, fuck you. Let's end it right here.
Let's end it right here. Castrate everyone.
Yes, I'm done.
No, I actually have...
That's how you solve pedophilia, by
Dude, you are out of the shot. You need to be more aware of... This is my own podcast now. I'm sorry, headphone users. We're gonna fix this.
Okay, you want me to be here. Hey.
I want you to just be in the shot.
I know.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, guys.
Let's talk about weed.
Let's talk about food.
We can talk about weed.
We can talk about food.
They're related.
Okay, anyway, in order to end this podcast with a lighter mood, let's talk about a little bit of contrasting differences between Mexico and our neighbor country, the U.S. So I think like the biggest contrast, I guess. Okay, I mean, no, we do have a lot of contrast.
Before we begin, like, is there such a thing as American food?
Burgers.
Are they? They're European.
In-N-Out. No, In-N-Out. European. Listen, In-N-Out is like the Californian dish.
Yeah, but a burger in itself, it's not something that was created in the U.S.
Nothing is ever created in the U.S. U.S. is like this pot of ingredients.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, that's what I think. I feel like food in the United States, it's better than in Mexico.
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
I stand by it.
We could have a whole podcast arguing about this. But here's the thing. Mexican food has basic ingredients that basically go in every single dish. You have a tortilla, so you have your corn.
That goes everywhere.
You have your beans. That goes everywhere. Some sort of meat. And then pico de gallo. Yeah. That is... And pico de gallo, by the way, has never in the world had pineapple. Like, that's something I have to address. Pico de gallo does not have pineapple. The only thing you need is... I was gonna list the things in Spanish. Tomatoes, onions, lemon, salt, some sort of like cilantro, and like peppers. That's pico de gallo.
There's variations of it. There's variations of pico de gallo, but the base has to be tomato, onions, lime, not lemon.
Well, it's not lime because in Spanish, lime literally translates to lima, and lima actually lima is sweet. It's like a sweet lemon.
Wait, which one's the green one?
Limón verde, limón mexicano.
That's so gay.
Anyways, for you guys who understand
in English, I would say lime.
Yeah.
Instead of a lemon, it needs to be a lime, or not one lime, but like lime juice. And it also needs to be onions, tomato, and cilantro.
By the way, lime juice is not bought in plastic little containers. You actually have to buy the limes and squeeze the lemon out of it. One of my biggest pet peeves there is people who buy lime juice in like those squishy bottles. Like, dude, don't do that.
They're convenient though.
That's not even lime juice.
But it's convenient.
But it's not even lime juice. It's just like citric powder.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's convenient.
It's not good. And convenient has to taste good.
No, it does not. McDonald's
is good.
It sucks ass.
Anyways.
Just like you eat ass.
Shut up. McDonald's. Anyways, guys, thank you for sticking...
Your butt. Your finger to your
dick.
Butt.
No, thank you for sticking up to us. Sticking... is that...
Thank you guys for sticking for this long. If you actually did stay for the duration of this podcast, which I doubt. I don't
doubt. It was a good podcast.
It's a solid podcast, but I'm unable to watch anything about 5 minutes.
No, I actually do that.
And I know there's people like that out there too. So, but if you didn't and you stayed for the entire thing, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties. I'm sorry for screaming. Like, I'm pretty sure... Don't do that! I'm sure the mic is not... perfect. Like, the audio quality is not yet perfect.
It's full of coronavirus now.
Yeah, it's gonna get disinfected in a bit. Anyways, I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties. We'll get better at this. And if not, then this is it. And fuck you.
Yeah, stick to this shit. Thank you. Have a good one.
If you have any suggestions, by the way, on subjects you would like two little border beaners to talk about, leave it in the comments below.
Or send it to our Instagram at border beaners with a Z.
With a Z.
We made a business decision on that Z, so like, indulge it. Bitch.
Anyways,
have a good one.
Have a good one, and fuck you.
I'm down.
Ew! Bye!